You meet someone from India for the first time. You've known them for maybe 4 minutes. And then it happens. So, are you married? What does your father do? How much do you earn? And they're smiling, warmly, like they just asked you about the weather. Welcome to Tiny But Wise, where we take the small things you ignore every day and reveal the big truths hiding inside them. Today we're diving into something that billions of people experience every single day, and something that has genuinely puzzled, charmed, and occasionally shocked people from every corner of the globe. Why do Indians ask deeply personal questions almost immediately after meeting you? Is it nosiness? Is it rudeness? Or is there something far more profound happening beneath the surface of those questions that the rest of the world has completely missed? Before we go any further, I want you to sit with 3 questions. Have you ever felt that a personal question from a stranger was an invasion of your privacy, even though they meant absolutely no harm? Have you ever wondered whether your definition of too personal is actually just a cultural setting that someone installed in you without asking? And here's the one that might genuinely unsettle you. What if the thing you call keeping boundaries actually looks like coldness to half the world? Let's start at the very beginning. India is not one culture. It is thousands of cultures compressed into one geography. Over 1.4 billion people. More than 22 officially recognized languages. Hundreds of distinct ethnic groups, religious traditions, and regional identities. And yet, cutting across almost all of them, there is one shared behavioral thread that visitors notice almost immediately. The personal question. Fast, direct, warm, and completely unapologetic. You land in Mumbai, and your taxi driver asks where you're from, whether you're married, and how many children you have, before you've even merged onto the highway. You visit a colleague's home in Delhi, and his mother wants to know your salary, your caste background, and whether your parents are healthy, and she's offering you food at the same time. You meet a stranger on a train from Chennai to Bangalore, and by the time the train reaches the next station, she knows your entire family tree. To someone raised in the United States, the United Kingdom, or Australia, this can feel startling, even intrusive, because in those cultures, there is an invisible wall around personal information. You share it slowly, gradually, only after trust has been built across weeks or months. Questions about salary, marriage, family, religion, these are protected territory. You don't go there until invited. But here's what most people don't realize. That invisible wall is not a universal human instinct. It is a cultural construction. And in India, that wall was never built in the first place. Not because Indians lack manners, but because their entire concept of what a person is and what a relationship is fundamentally different from a Western model. In most Western cultures, the individual is the basic unit of society. You are a self-contained person with your own identity, your own choices, your own private interior world. Your personal information belongs to you. Sharing it is an act of trust that must be earned slowly. The relationship grows from the outside in, small talk first, then gradually deeper layers. In India, the basic unit of society is not the individual. It is the family, the community, the collective. From the moment you are born, your identity is woven into a web of relationships: parents, grandparents, siblings, cousins, neighbors, caste community, religious group. You are never just you. You are always you in relation to others. And because of that, understanding someone means understanding their web. Where are you from? Who is your family? Are you married? These aren't invasive questions. They are the map. They are how an Indian person locates you in the human landscape and figures out how to relate to you. Think about it from this angle. Imagine you're in a library and someone hands you a book with no title, no author name, and no back cover summary. You'd flip through it, try to find context, right? That's what an Indian person is doing when they ask personal questions. They're reading the cover. They're finding the context they need to know how to treat you, how to speak to you, what kind of relationship is possible between you. And here's the curiosity loop I promise to close. Why do they do it so fast? Why not take time to warm up? The answer is beautiful in its own logic. In Indian social culture, taking time to ask personal questions is actually a sign of disinterest. If someone meets you and only makes small talk about the weather and traffic, that means they don't care enough to invest in knowing you. The personal questions come fast because the intention to connect is immediate. Warmth in Indian culture is not rationed. It is offered up front, without waiting for permission. Now here's the twist that reframes everything. You might have assumed this behavior is uniquely Indian. It's not. Most of the world actually operates closer to the Indian model than to the Western one. Across large parts of Latin America, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Africa, personal questions early in a conversation are completely normal. They signal interest, warmth, and the desire to build a real human connection. The Western model of conversational privacy is actually the minority position globally. It just happens to dominate the internet, media, and global professional culture, which is why it feels like the default. The idea that asking about someone's salary is rude is a relatively recent, relatively Western, and relatively upper-middle-class construct. In a village in Rajasthan, knowing someone's livelihood isn't gossip. It's practical information that helps the community function. In a joint family in Tamil Nadu, knowing whether the new neighbor is married and has children tells you how to include them in community events. Information that feels private in a Western city apartment feels communal and necessary in a densely interconnected social fabric. Here's something that Indian immigrants in America describe constantly. They arrive, they try to be friendly, they ask the questions they've always asked, and suddenly they're being described as pushy, inappropriate, or invasive. And they genuinely don't understand why. Because from inside their cultural framework, they were being warm. They were showing interest. They were doing the thing that back home makes someone feel welcomed and seen. Meanwhile, the American in that interaction walks away feeling vaguely uncomfortable, not realizing that they just experienced someone expressing genuine care, just in a language their cultural training never taught them to read. And this is where it becomes genuinely important. Because as the world gets more connected, as Indian professionals, students, and families spread across every continent, as global workplaces mix people from 100 different cultural backgrounds, the misreading of warmth as intrusiveness is creating real friction, real misunderstandings, real loneliness on both sides. The Indian person who stops asking personal questions to fit in often ends up feeling like they've lost a core part of how they connect with people. The Western person who never learns to read the warmth behind those questions misses out on some of the most genuinely caring, deeply invested human relationships they could ever have. Here is the most powerful insight at the bottom of all of this. Every culture has a different answer to the question, what does it mean to care about someone? In much of the West, caring means respecting their privacy, giving them space, not presuming too much. In much of India, caring means showing up fully, immediately, asking everything, knowing everything, because you cannot truly care for someone you don't truly know. Neither answer is wrong. They are just different dialects of the same human desire, to connect, to belong, to matter to someone else. The personal question is an invasion. It's an invitation. And the next time someone asks you something that feels too personal too soon, before you tighten up, before you put that wall back in place, consider the possibility that what you're actually receiving is warmth. Offered fast, offered freely, and offered without condition. So here's what I'll leave you with. If someone knowing your salary, your relationship status, and your family background actually help them care for you better, would you still call it too personal? If you found this video valuable and learned something new, do us a favor, like subscribe to Tiny But Wise and share it with your loved ones. Now your turn. Drop a comment with the next topic. We read every comment and the best suggestion gets a shout out. See you there.